What if I told you that the promotion you are desperately working for right now, the one you are losing sleep over, is exactly what is going to keep you broke for the rest of your life? Think about it for a second. You are making more money today than you ever have. You did everything society told you to do. You got the degree, you got the job, you put in the hours. By all standard metrics, you should feel rich. So why do you feel poorer than ever? Why does it feel like you are just one missed paycheck away from a complete financial meltdown? Welcome to Grow with Tony. Today, we are pulling back the curtain and exposing the ultimate financial illusion that is keeping you stuck, the salary trap. Quick heads up before we dive into the deep end. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is absolutely not financial advice. Alright, let's get into it. I want to tell you a story today. It is not a story about someone who is reckless with their money. It is not about someone who gambles or makes terrible, obvious mistakes or throws their cash away on nonsense. I want to tell you about someone who did everything exactly right. Let's call him James. James is 32 years old. He works in marketing. He is sharp, he is dedicated, and a few years ago he finally landed a senior position at his firm. He's pulling in about $90,000 a year. Now on paper, James has made it. He's in the upper tier of earners for his age group. If you ask his high school friends or his parents, they think James is absolutely crushing it. But James does not feel like he is crushing it. In fact, James feels like he is suffocating. Every morning he wakes up, puts on a nice suit, gets into a nice car, and feels a heavy weight sitting right on his chest. Let's break down exactly why this happens, and this brings us to the first weapon of what we call the salary trap, the illusion of prosperity through fragmentation. When James gets paid, he doesn't get a beautiful briefcase full of $90,000 handed to him at the end of the year. He gets paid every 2 weeks. After taxes, health insurance, and basic retirement contributions, a specific, much smaller number lands in his checking account. Let's say it's about $2,600 every paycheck. Now, the economic system we live in is an absolute genius. It doesn't ask James to make big, philosophical choices about how to build generational wealth. Instead, it fragments his money before he even has a chance to breathe. Instantly, the money evaporates into a dozen invisible channels. His luxury apartment downtown, the one he got because he wanted to be closer to the office and feel like a successful executive, takes a massive bite out of that check. Then comes the car payment. He's driving a sleek late-model sedan because, hey, he's a senior manager now, he has an image to maintain. He can't be seen driving a beat-up college car, so there goes another huge chunk. Then there is the premium car insurance, the high-speed internet required for his remote work days, the flagship smartphone plan, the expensive gym membership he barely uses because he is always working, the 5 different streaming services, and the organic meal delivery kit because he's too busy to actually go to the grocery store and cook. By the time James actually sits down on a Friday night to look at his money, almost all of it is spoken for. It has been sliced up by automated payments and direct debits. He might have a couple of $100 left for the weekend to buy some drinks or go out to dinner. But here is the psychological trap, the absolute masterpiece of the system. James does not feel poor. He looks around his beautifully furnished apartment. He looks at his expensive car in the garaged parking lot. He looks at his designer clothes hanging in the closet. The system provides him with just enough comfort, just enough shiny, beautiful things to completely mask the reality that he is broke. He's experiencing an illusion. He has a high-consumption lifestyle, but he has absolutely zero actual wealth. The fragmentation of his income keeps his brain from realizing that he is just treading water in a very expensive, very deep pool. But it gets much darker than that. Let's move to the second weapon of the trap. This is the one that locks the door and throws away the key. Economists call it lifestyle inflation, but I like to call it the golden handcuffs. Let's rewind James's life a bit. When James first graduated from college, he was making $40,000 a year. He shared a cramped, noisy apartment with 2 roommates, ate instant noodles 4 nights a week, and took the bus everywhere. Back then, he dreamed of making $60,000. He calculated that the extra 20 grand would be pure savings. He thought he would be rich, but when he finally got that raise to 60,000, what happened? He decided he deserved his own place. So the extra money went to rent. When he jumped to 80,000, he decided he deserved a nicer car, so the extra money went straight to the dealership. You see, human beings are incredibly adaptable creatures. We do not naturally view increases in our salary as a tool to buy our freedom. Our psychology tricks us into viewing it as a ticket to upgrade our lifestyle. We constantly inflate our living standards to perfectly match our new income. Every single time James got a raise, he didn't buy a piece of his freedom back. Instead, he bought a thicker, heavier, shinier link for his own chain. And here's the ultimate tragedy of these golden handcuffs. James is no longer a free man. Let's say he wakes up tomorrow and realizes he hates his boss. He is stressed out, he is losing sleep, and his physical health is declining from the corporate grind. He dreams of quitting. He fantasizes about taking 6 months off to travel the world or finally starting that consulting business he's always talking about with his friends. But he can't. If he quits, who pays the massive downtown rent? Who pays for the luxury car? Who pays for the entire lifestyle he has built his identity around? He needs that $90,000 salary just to survive. He has built a massive financial machine that requires a continuous supply of expensive fuel just to stay running. He is trapped, and the cruelest part of it all, the system didn't force him to do it. No one put a gun to his head. The system just laid out the shiny toys, offered the financing, and human psychology did the rest. This brings us to the core truth of why the system keeps you broke. You have to understand that the system is designed this way on purpose. Think about who really benefits from James living paycheck to paycheck on a high salary. The bank absolutely loves him because he pays interest on his auto loan and his credit cards every single month. The landlord loves him because he pays top dollar rent right on time. The massive corporations love him because he is a predictable, reliable, guaranteed revenue stream for their products. More importantly than anyone else, his employer loves him. Why? Because a financially stressed employee is a compliant employee. When you are one missed paycheck away from a financial crisis, you do not rock the boat, you do not take bold risks, you do not demand better treatment or set hard boundaries. You put your head down, you swallow your pride, you answer those emails at 11 p.m. and you work the weekend, because you desperately need that money to keep your life from falling apart. You are completely controllable. The system wants you to be comfortable enough to keep working, but broke enough so you never, ever stop. I want you to pause whatever you are doing right now and ask yourself a very serious question. If you walked into your boss's office tomorrow morning and quit, or if your company suddenly went bankrupt, how many months could you maintain your current life without a single dollar coming in? Be brutally honest with yourself. If your answer is less than 3 months, or worse, if your answer is less than 1 month, you are not living in a state of security. You are living in a highly decorated prison cell. But listen to me closely. I didn't make this podcast today just to depress you or make you feel bad about your choices. I made this to wake you up, because the exact moment you see the salary trap for what it truly is, a psychological game designed to extract your labor and your money, you gain the power to break it. It is not a law of physics. It is just a behavioral pattern, and patterns can be broken. So how do you break free? How do you dismantle the trap? It takes a massive shift in how you view money, and it requires 4 critical steps. Step number 1, you must ruthlessly separate the concept of income from the concept of wealth. I need you to burn this distinction into your brain. A $200,000 salary is just income. It is temporary, it is dependent on someone else's approval, and it can be taken away from you in an instant with one HR meeting. $50,000 sitting in investments, generating passive dividends, that is wealth. Wealth is what you keep. Wealth is permanent. You need to stop trying to look wealthy to people who don't care about you, and start focusing on actually being wealthy behind closed doors. Step number 2, you have to attack the gap. The gap is the space between what you earn and what you spend. The entire consumer system wants that gap to be zero. You have to fight tooth and nail to make that gap as wide as humanly possible. This means doing something that feels entirely backwards in our modern society. You have to intentionally live below your means. When you get a raise, do not upgrade your car. Do not move to a bigger house. Keep your expenses exactly where they are and capture every single dollar of that new income. It will feel strange at first. Your friends might wonder why you aren't driving a nicer car or wearing nicer clothes. Let them wonder. They are trapped in the cage. You are quietly building an escape route. Step number 3, redirect that gap into assets. Once you have widened the gap, you will have surplus money sitting there every month. Do not let it just sit in a checking account losing value to inflation, and absolutely do not spend it on things that lose value over time. Buy assets. Assets are things that put money into your pocket without requiring your active daily labor. Buy index funds, invest in real estate, start a side business, invest in acquiring high-income skills. You want to completely shift your mindset from buying liabilities that demand your paycheck to buying assets that will eventually replace your paycheck. And finally, step number 4, the ultimate goal of all of this, build optionality. The reason you want to build wealth isn't so you can buy a private jet or a yacht. The true reason you want wealth is to buy back your time and your choices. The moment you save up 3 to 6 months of living expenses, a profound psychological shift happens in your brain. You walk into work differently. You breathe differently. You are no longer acting out of fear and desperation. You can negotiate from a place of immense power. You can walk away from toxic situations. The ultimate goal is to become completely independent from the system's requirement that you need a paycheck just to survive. Because the moment you don't desperately need the paycheck, you are finally, truly free. Before we wrap up today's episode, let's quickly summarize what we have learned so you can take these lessons and apply them to your own life. First, we learned that the salary trap uses the illusion of prosperity, fragmenting your income so you feel successful while actually staying entirely broke. Second, we learned about the danger of lifestyle inflation and the golden handcuffs, where your expenses automatically rise to meet your income, trapping you in a job you simply cannot afford to leave. Third, we exposed how the system actively benefits from keeping you financially vulnerable and predictable. And most importantly, we learned the 4 steps to break free: separating income from wealth, attacking the gap between earning and spending, buying income-producing assets instead of liabilities, and ultimately building the financial optionality to buy back your freedom. If you found value in today's episode and it changed the way you look at your money, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Also, drop a comment down below and let me know what topic you want me to cover next. I'll make it happen for you, but if you've already told me, no worries at all. Thanks for listening, keep your expenses low, keep investing, and remember to keep growing.